All right, guys, it's my favorite time of the week. It's weekly three banger time, and I have three amazing high conviction plays going into this week, plus two bonus bangers. And if you stick around all the way to the end, there's even going to be a sixth opportunity that I'm going to mention. But before we jump into that, I'm going to jump right into last week's results. So we obviously had one loser, two winners on the primary three banger, and then we had our bonus bangers. We had Tesla for 12%. What an insane move Tesla made. And then MSTR with a 3.77% move intra-week. But let's talk about the primary bangers. The first one that we had is Hood. I said that Hood was going to get faded. It did come in at the end of the week, but net, we still lost 4% on Hood. I think it's still going to come in. I think we can still play it to the downside. I'm not going to take it this week, but I do think it is primed for further deceleration and movement to the downside. So keep it on your watch list, and if you're aggressive, you could definitely play it. I'm short the name, so I think it is going lower, and I'll lay out my reasons why in a follow-up video. But yeah, I do think that one's still going to come in, and it was a loser we had last week. But we had Rocket Lab. It went up 18.7% on the week. Oh my God, what an insane week. We had Tempest AI, which had also an absolutely insane move, 12.53%. So out of the five, we had four winners. We did incredibly. And this week, I think, is going to be very much the same. So let's jump right in and let's go over banger number one. Okay, so it is going to be GDX. GDX is the gold miners ETF, and as you could see, what I wanted to do is I wanted to start on this larger time frame to show you kind of where we are on the week, because we're coming into a weekly time count. And if you don't know what a time count is, it's a seven progression either to the upside or to the downside. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's the seventh week we're going into. I could see us going up. We might even gap up on Monday, go a little bit higher, but I think it gets faded in the week, and I'm going to explain why. So clearly you can see we've had a breakout of the previous all-time highs, and we do not have confirmation on the weekly. However, on the daily, I want to show you this. So look at this move. We were in this really nice parallel. You can see shaped by virtue of the pivot low here, pivot low here, pivot low here. There's 3 touch points. Drag that up, drag it to the pivot top high here, and then what do you have? You have a breakout of this parallel, and we don't even have a back test of it yet. So this is a major parallel. It goes all the way back to 2020. It is going to be back test. It would blow my mind if this doesn't get back test and we just back test the previous all-time highs. And that's very likely situation. But again, I think this needs, look at this extension on GDX. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We did have one pullback right here where we had this small little pullback on the daily, but really ever since then, we've pretty much been going up. Now, this is a confirmed breakout. Why? Because we have a move up, we have this closing candle, and then we have this closing candle above the high. So this does tell me that this is a confirmed breakout on the all-time high. So I think at a very minimum, we're going to do something like this. So I'm going to play it and fade it to the downside. We might do something like this and then come back in. So, or we might just kind of do something like this and come in here, drop down, retest here. Let me make this a little bit lower. I don't think we're going to probably go that low. Maybe something like that. Break down through it, retest, and then move lower. I don't think it goes all the way there. I think it back tests this parallel. But either way, I'm fading GDX. I'm fading gold miners. Obviously, it has a lot of momentum. Obviously, we're going against the trend. This is a counter trend trade. But I do think this has opportunity to go to the downside for all the reasons I just laid out. So we're taking GDX as primary banger number one, bearish to the downside this week. Okay, next one up is GE Veranova. I know I've covered this in the past, and you can clearly see we have, let me adjust these lines. I'm not quite sure how that got messed up, but here we go. So we had, we have this move here. We've overthrew here. We were in this ascending ascending wedge, and you can see we had an overthrow here, gap down, made this pivot low here. This was on the tariff news, and then boom, here we are off to the races. without a back test of this line. So long term, I think we're going back to 441. That's not going to hit this week. But here's why I like this to the downside. So we had a move down through this ascending wedge. We had a breakdown. We had a confirmation. Actually, geez, we did not have a confirmation. Let me go back and look at this. We did not have a confirmation of this breakdown. So what did it do? It obviously kind of went up to retest the bottom edge of the ascending wedge. And what did it do? It rejected, right? So you have two rejections, really. I drew this one on there because you have this one, which rejected. We went through it and then rejected. And then you have the actual ascending wedge. It rejected. And you can see it closed the week with a inverted hammer to the downside. Not on the weekly candle, but on that daily candle. On the weekly candle, it's actually kind of bullish structure with the exception of this wick. So again, I'm going to fade this just again because my larger macro analysis is to the downside. So at a very minimum, based on the price action to the tail end of the week, I do think we come down lower. At a minimum, we retest the 600 before moving higher. But I'm going to fade it to the downside on the longer term for all the reasons I laid out. You can also see we had this appears to be a fake out rather on this RSI. Again, if my thesis is right, we're actually going to break down through this and come lower. It also may look like it's just back testing it to go bullishly. So we'll have to wait and find out. But either way, I think it still comes lower. I think you could still play it for a nice move to the downside. And yeah, I'm taking GE Veranova to the downside because also, guys, I think we're going to come into next week in some volatility. I do think. We're at a point in the VIX where it makes sense to buy protection. You saw protection getting bought on Friday by the institutions, it looks like, and I laid out I'll link at the end of this video. I have did the market top analysis and I go through all the indices. So you're going to want to watch that because I totally break down where I think it's going ultimately on the macro perspective and then where I think it's going on the short term. And I lay out some really good reasons why I think on the near term or in the new term we're going lower. So I'm fading GE Veranova to the downside. So take that bearishly. Okay, next one up was our secondary banger last week, none other than Tesla. So let me take some of this off, and I'm going to show you why I think Tesla's going higher, even despite its move by about 12% in the last 2 days. So what do we do, guys and girls? We broke out of this massive triangle. We broke out of this secondary triangle, and we closed above the golden pocket. So what would be amazing is if we saw some consolidation and maybe we gap down a little bit on the week or open kind of flat and we do something like this. But either way, I see a weekly expansion candle because of this, right? You don't put in a candle like this on a breakout and move up 12% roughly and close above the golden pocket on the retrace to only go lower. I don't see that getting faded, right? So I see us really targeting about 420. So I think in the short term, on maybe Monday, Tuesday, we get this pullback, but I think it ends the week for a nice move higher into the 420 range or maybe somewhere right about 410. But either way, I see this going higher into next week and through the week. So I'm taking this as the third and final high conviction play to the bullish side. We're going higher on Tesla. So what is the bonus banger? It is HIMS, and I'm going to show you why. So, similar to Tesla, right? We had a nice move, an expansion we had a breakout on the weekly on HIMS, not last week, but the previous week, and then the last week we had a continuation. So, what do I see here? I see, if you go to the daily, I see kind of a descending broadening wedge, and I see it with two different resistance lines. So, I see it with the first resistant line, which you could see back here, it went up, wasn't ready, faded. Went through, wasn't ready, faded, gap down, hit these demand zones here, accelerated higher, had this bull structure of this flagpole, went higher, and then it created the secondary kind of top here, went through it, wasn't ready, came back in, retested for a double bottom, this demand zone here, and I'm going to take this red one off here, and I'm also going to take this one off. And you could see, we back tested. We have a double bottom here, right? So let me zoom in a little bit more so I can make this a little easier to see. So we had this double bottom. So let me show you that. Boom and boom. So, oops, sorry, let's fix that. So we have those two there, double bottom. Then what did we do? Broke out, confirmed, bullish consolidation, this little, let me just draw it for you guys so you can see it. So we have kind of this look right here, and then I grabbed the wrong thing, but whatever. Kind of have that there. You could even put it right there. Either way, it's bullish consolidation on the daily. Had the breakout, and what did it do? It confirmed this move of this higher or upper resistance line. We had a breakout and a confirming candle the next day on Friday. So I do see this potentially doing one of two things. It either continues and goes higher. We have expanding volume here, and we might just go higher from here on the week, or we might do something like this. And this wouldn't surprise me one bit to do something like this, either test there or test here, and then go higher. But either way, I see an expansion candle happening again on the weekly chart. I don't think it's getting faded. If it does, I think it's going to be intra-week, and I think this is a move to the upside. Okay, next bonus banger is the VIX. For all the reasons I outlaid in the video that I'm going to link at the end regarding the market top, we are into a 7-day or 7-week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going into our 7-week. I think we get a move to the upside for this reason, okay? On Friday, we were left with a very, very small bottoming tail on the VIX, right? So into the end of the day, guys, we had institutional pressure to the upside. It got bought up into the end of the day, and then in the after hours it sold off. But that's just a back test. So I see us again, look at on the daily chart, right? It's kind of pseudo kind of bottoming tail there. So I do think we get a movement. I think some volatility comes in this market, and I see us going higher on the week. So I see protection as a good thing, and I see this moving, you know, probably up to about, oops, I'm on the VIXy. Sorry. I meant to do the VIX, but either way, it's the same thing. You have the VIX here. Oh my God. Anyways, I had that on the VIXy because that's the instrument in which I think we should buy to make the move. So like I said, VIXy was getting bought up. I think it moves higher, probably to about 34, 35, maybe even higher. Maybe we get a big spike next week. I don't know. But either way, I like volatility. I like the VIXy next week. Okay, the sixth and final bonus banger, right, is going to be a very, very interesting company. It's a semiconductor. They do car semiconductors, and it has just been getting destroyed. I mean, this stock, we've made money trading it to the upside, to the downside, and I'm just seeing some interesting things that lead me to believe this is going higher next week. So you have, I have this descending kind of broadening wedge. You have this overhanging resistance that has just been multi-year, all the way back from, I mean, it's deep. It goes all the way back to these lows here. But here's where we're at. We broke through it to the downside. Volume accelerated. It got massive sells over the last couple of months, actually the last 6 months. But look what it did, right? It's doing some really, really interesting things. So this is a speculation play, highly speculative. But look at the move down. Look at the accumulation on these massive green candles. Had this major move, wasn't ready, came back in, retested kind of the breakout, and look where we find ourselves today. We find ourselves in kind of this, it's kind of sloppy, but an inverse head and shoulders in a way. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, but more importantly, it's accelerating volume. So we're getting increasing volume. We had 2 days of accumulation with us closing at the highs on Friday. If you look at the weekly candle, look at that breakout. I think we get expansion into next week. I could see this targeting the upside of this. At a minimum, it's going to 277, then probably getting faded back into, or it just ignites and accelerates. But this is highly speculative. It's what you call a gamble play. But this thing, if it gets some legs under it, and if these candles are true in terms of daily accumulation back here, then this thing could have a major breakout, and it could target as high as, the $5 range. So keep this. This could be a sleeper, putting it on your radar, taking it as a bonus banger number 6, just as a fun play. So know what you're dealing with. And guys, I'm going to remind you, this is always for educational purposes. No financial advice given. Just to show you what I'm doing in my own trading portfolio. These are trade ideas. I hope you do your own analysis, research them. And if you choose to follow along, then do so at your discretion. But that's entirely up to you. So again, let's run through them. So we have GDX to the downside, bearish. We have GE Veranova to the downside, bearish. We have Tesla on an expansion move coming, I think, to the upside, targeting 420. We have, as a bonus banger, we have HIMS, continued expansion. I think this goes higher. And lastly, we have the VIXI is the instrument. VIX is why I think we're going higher from here. Volatility's coming in. And then lastly, we have the speculation play. We have Wolfspeed. Wolf is the ticker symbol to the upside. Guys, smash that like button. Show me some love. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Check out the videos I got linked at the end. A lot of good analysis. Yeah, that's what I got for you. I hope you guys have an incredible Saturday, an incredible weekend, and I hope your football teams win if you're a football fan like I am. All right, guys, peace and love. Check you on the next one.